はいません。
Did we really just say how now brown cow in the middle of this episode?
Probably.
Really? Was that actual wordings? I don't think that was the correct translation for what they said in this show.
You don't know
but
that?
Definitely, I mean...
That could be the most French saying of all.
How now brown cow?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think so, to be honest. Break the window and go through the thing because you're a cat.
Meow 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 meow.
He is Cat Noir.
Black cat. But he's French, so noir, and also we're whitewashing things just like 4Kids did in the PS. So is that show any good or what?
What, The Miraculous Ladybug?
Yeah.
Yeah, for shows. It's adorable. I was telling David he needs to watch it, and David was like, yeah, show. He's going to watch it.
Yeah, probably.
All right. Well, this is Trainwreck's not going anywhere. Welcome to the Baker Street podcast.
What do you mean? This is the entire podcast is a train wreck, Watson.
Usually, my name's Watson.
We knew that from the beginning, and I am Leo.
And today, we do not have Zach. Instead, we have David. How you going, David?
Yo, what's going on?
It's been a while.
He's not Eric?
It's been about 4 months.
Yeah.
How's life been going?
Life is good, you know. Just
ignore my jokes. Whatever.
Eric's been on more recently than David, so shush. So today we are going to talk about Boku Dake ga Inaimachi. You know.
Yep.
That one show.
That is the name.
Everyone talks about this show with because there's not a much shorter English name.
Erased.
Oh, I guess there is. Never mind. Oh.
Yeah, that one. Or the town where only I am missing.
Like the one poem that Kyle did. It's not a poem, it's a story. I'm dumb. Berate me in the comments. All right.
I mean, if we ever had comments.
Yeah.
I will go into our own comments and berate you.
Thank you. All right. So.
You're welcome.
Leo and I both put this show on our top 5 anime of the previous season. I had it at number 4. Leo had it at number 2. David, how'd you like the show?
Yeah, I would say I've watched probably 15 series in the past, like 8 months or so.
Yep.
Not too much, but this is probably like the best or the second best that I've watched. So,
if this wasn't the best, what would be better than it?
I watched Psycho Pass.
Oh, okay.
I read that wrong.
And that was really good. And I started watching Psycho Pass 2, and I didn't like it, unfortunately.
See, I seem to be like the only person who likes Psycho Pass 2 more than Psycho Pass.
I like all of Psycho Pass, so
my thing with the original series is like I can't suspend my disbelief that this entire country would let its own law enforcement get to such a point where it would be like that. So that entire first season has like this is really stupid, but okay, let's go with it kind of thing with it. Whereas the second one like goes full throttle on the stupid, so...
No, I like Psycho Pass. Psycho Pass season 2 is real good too, and they're doing a game.
They had a movie.
They already did a movie before, but I think they're doing another movie. But they're doing a game that is going to be on. It might be on the Vita, but for sure it's on. I think it's going to be on PlayStation as well. But it comes out between the 2 seasons. It's going to be about random nonsense. And you play other characters that are not in show. So ultimately, probably spoilers, you're going to die. But, yeah.
Well, we're not here to talk about psychopaths.
Wait, we're not? That's what I prepared all my notes for.
Yep, as much as we would love to. That is a topic for a different time. Today, we are actually, as we said before, going to talk about Erased. And we all generally enjoyed the show, for the most part. I probably, of the three of us, enjoyed it the least. But we'll see how it all holds up from here. I believe we're just going to go straight into spoilery things, because at this point, if you haven't seen Erased, you've had like several people tell you to go see it anyway. You're either going to watch it
into the new season, at least for most shows, so too bad.
Okay, well, there's not a second season for this, and probably never will be, considering...
There's a spin-off series of this show.
Okay, well, that's different. And not the same thing, so...
But spin-off novel series.
Point being, if you haven't seen it, go watch it, then come back and listen to us talk about it again. We can wait. It's probably a good idea for you to watch this show.
Oh, the spin-off manga hasn't started yet, but the novel series is out and done.
So, Leo, go ahead and read a synopsis here for us.
The story follows Satoru Fujinuma, a man who somehow possesses an ability that sends him back in time, moments before a life-threatening incident, allowing him to prevent it from happening. When his mother is murdered by an unknown assailant, Satoru's ability suddenly sends him back 18 years to when he was still in elementary school, giving him the opportunity to prevent a kidnapping incident that took the lives of 3 of his classmates.
This show is an adaptation of an 8-volume manga. The show itself ran somewhere around a few episodes. 12 episodes.
And there's a live-action film.
Cool, but we didn't watch that. We're not talking about the manga. We're not talking about the movie. Or the other manga that's still going. We're going to be talking about the
other
anime.
Manga is yet to start.
Solely about the anime. I feel like that's a big... thing to talk about, because I don't think any of us has read the manga.
I have friends who've read this manga, and they talked to me a little about it while the show is coming out, but I mean, I haven't personally read it, no.
Neither have I.
Yeah. What I've heard is that the manga is much better. There are things that, because this show is only 12 episodes, that were cut out.
Yeah. It's basically what I heard as well. The manga is a little bit better just because they have more time to do a little bit more things, as well as...
like, Irie's an actual character.
Yeah,
that
basically.
You care about.
I would say that's my biggest gripe with the show.
That's not my biggest, but it is one of them.
Just like... Because they really made it seem like in those first few episodes that she was going to be, like, you know, a character of consequence.
Mm-hmm.
And they literally don't mention her in the last, like, probably like the last half of the show.
Yeah, until the very last episode.
Her house burns down, and then she's not important anymore.
Hey, remember that one scene where the killer is super out of character and dismantling that guy's camera at the hospital? You remember that? How it was
Maybe.
Super weird for the killer to have the motivation to stop paparazzi from taking pictures of Satoru.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was supposed to be Irie.
Taking pictures of him?
No, dismantling the camera.
Oh.
Because apparently remember when she showed up at the end with the camera?
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, I like taking pictures of things. That was supposed to be a thing that we were supposed to know. And also, you know the little girl in the hospital? That's her, like, sister. So, you know, those are not at all things that might have been nice to know in the anime.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. That would have been cool.
But there's the other... Okay, one more thing about Irie, though. That story she told when she went when he went forward in time, and she told a story about, like, how her dad was not, like... her dad didn't steal a thing, and then that's why she believes him.
That was lame. That was pretty lame. Like, I remember, like, her telling that, and I just thinking this is such a cliched, like, backstory for a character.
I don't remember that, but I think that's because I erased all of the information about her other than her house got set on fire.
Says the guy who called the show Nearly Perfect.
Didn't her dad steal? It was a chocolate
candy bar. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Why even bring it up?
I was like, what? Like, you're basing your life's philosophy on an event that involved your dad's, like, getting mistaken for stealing a candy bar.
And that ruined his life so much that he had to leave town.
Yeah. It's like,
I'm sorry. Where do you live? Feel like no one would make that big a deal out of it unless you're in like starving country somewhere.
Yeah.
And even then, why would you be selling chocolate in a starving country?
Chocolate?
Yes, chocolate.
Okay.
With or without nuts?
I'm with, always. What are you, a savage?
Comes with its own candy bar bag carrying bags. Okay, so yeah, Irie not the best, but you know what? Show's okay.
I didn't realize this show was supposed to be set in 2006, although I guess I could have done the math.
Huh?
No, I was just saying that Satoru was 29, circa 2006.
Okay.
I don't know.
My other biggest problem with the show is the killer in general.
Why?
Because, like, I didn't want it to be him because it was too obvious.
Nah.
When it first came up, I was just like, this is kind of really lame. It was the teacher the whole time, even though we went through the trouble of trying to dissuade people from it being the teacher. I guess that was worth it, because it still seemed like he was totally not the killer.
I didn't think it was that obvious.
Nah, they showed it in the first episode.
They kept him in No, they didn't. They showed it in the second episode, if anything.
Second episode, sorry. Well, it's in the fucking opening.
Yeah,
it shows
the
you.
first episode doesn't have an opening.
Okay, then yeah, it would be the second episode. Either way. I'll be honest, the only way you're going to know from the opening is if like you pause it at the right time.
Yeah. And no one would do that. No one would know.
Except for me.
Because you were looking at the internet, and the internet told you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it was one of my friends at work.
I didn't like that reveal, but especially with how it like panned out directly after the reveal, that was incredibly stupid. Like at the end of that episode, I thought was really dumb, but I talked a whole bunch about how I think that seatbelt should have been able to be gotten out of even if he hadn't unbuckled in the previous podcast. So let's not continue down that train.
I'll be honest, thinking more about this show, having more time away from it, maybe it also has to do with we've been watching a lot better shows this season.
This season, yes, not the previous season.
Yeah, this
last
current
season had
spring.
maybe two shows that were standout.
Yeah, I think like this show definitely stood out about a lot of compared to a lot of the other shows last season. But I think looking back onto it, I don't think it was as good as it could have been. Definitely.
Yeah.
I definitely
it needed more time for sure.
I don't think I would retract my statement of it being 2 of last season for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I definitely do. Thinking back on it, I think it could have been better, and that it definitely wasn't perfect. Now that I think about it, I think it's just because I was used. Because when we make those lists of just like, hey, this is what I thought of this season, I don't compare them against what I'm currently watching. I compare them against what we did watch and what was there.
Right. Yeah.
And at the time, it was better than any of those other shows mostly.
Yeah, and you didn't watch some of what in my opinion was a better show, or maybe one of the best shows of the decade. I still stand by that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that next week. But yeah, those are my only 2 big problems with the show. I really like how it's directed with the cinematic cropping when he's in the past and the full frame, white full 16:9 when he's in the present, so to speak. And I like the direction with him showing his thought process with the film reel.
Yeah.
That was real neat.
I liked the direction choice of the show. I mean, everything like the show itself was really pretty, and like the music was it was there, but I don't think it was anything special of music. I mean, it was there and it fit the show, and it like, which is what you want from music. You don't really want music to stand out during a show, so I think they did a good job with music.
Yep.
But I mean, it wasn't like, I don't know.
I was really, for the majority of the show, I was only okay with the directing. It was only in the second to last episode where I was just like, oh, wow, this really pays off really well. Because I feel like the second to last episode fixes a ton of the problems I had with a lot of what the first 9 or 10 episodes had. And then it also did the thing with the camera, which was real stupid. But you know what? The switching the voice in his head to being the kid who was playing him when he was in the past, and making the film reels all degenerated and melty in his brain. I like that.
Yeah, for sure.
I would say the thing that really like got me to stick to the show and what made me finish it in like 2 days was like the middle episodes when we got to see a lot of Satoru and what was her name? The first classmate,
Kaio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kaio, the girl.
Yep.
That was one of the more compelling relationships I've seen between two characters, and I thought, you know, it was challenge. It was more of a challenge because, you know, they're like, what are they supposed to be, like 11 years old? Is that?
Yeah, I think so. Like last year of primary school in Japan.
So like 10 or 11 years old, probably.
Well, 11 or 12.
10.
Oh, 10. Really? Okay.
It's saying 10. I'm looking at it.
Primary school is 1 to 6 because it's primary school.
I feel like it's kind of hard to write really good, you know, between a boy and a girl of that age. Mm-hmm. You know, they could have taken it a couple of directions, but I thought the way they took it, it was really.
I'm sure it was better in Japanese because the subs I was looking at, some of the words they were saying were not super childlike, and the way they were phrasing things, not always.
Well, they did that on purpose for Satoru, though. I mean, like, because he had the "I'm not a child in my head" talk. So I mean,
yeah, but all that talk in his head kind of made him pretty much getting a boner every time he looked at Kaio kind of weird.
Yeah.
Were you guys surprised when like that relationship didn't end up going anywhere?
I wasn't surprised. I thought those two were going to end up together, but I mean, I'm not really surprised that they didn't, I guess.
Yeah.
It just goes to show they were just really good friends.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm fine with it not going anywhere.
Yeah, I mean,
because she ended up with Blonde Boy, right?
I don't think she ended up with anyone we know. Kenya? No, I don't think she ended up with Kenya.
Says she married Hiromi.
The dude that looked like a lady.
Okay, that's the one that he... Okay.
Oh!
Because, swear to God...
I don't think they said that in the anime, though.
No, I'm looking at the list. It says she was married with Hiromi.
Oh, okay.
Or she married Hiromi and had a son. I never realized which one Hiromi... Like, you always mentioned that... Yeah, no, it just...
Also,
throughout watching that entire show, Hiromi looks like a lady. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about it during the last podcast. You're like, no, you know that's a dude, right? It's like, and then you're talking about how, like, and it's even saying here is that the reason he killed him is like to lead the police and suspect someone else. But it's just like, yeah, no, I never knew Hiromi was a dude.
You didn't?
No, not until we were talking about it during last podcast.
Oh,
no.
well, okay, well. I thought it was pretty obvious. I mean, It wasn't at first, but eventually it was just like, oh yeah, he's got a penis. It's fine.
You know, because Hiromi's the, like, bowl-haired cut kid with the green jacket. Yeah, no, Totes looks like a lady.
It does, but you know.
And you think more than anything it's the face shape?
Yeah.
than anything else, which throws me off. But, dude looks like a lady.
So anyone else almost cry at the breakfast scene?
Oh, which one?
Yeah, there's several
scene?
breakfast scenes.
The one that would get you to cry? With Kaio?
Oh, I don't think I cried during this entire show, but I do know what scene you're talking about because that was like the first time she had like family breakfast sit down time, basically.
A big
there was
breakfast,
actual meal there instead of like, here's packaged donut or here's however much yen. Go get your own food on your way to school. I do know what you're talking about. Yeah, no, it didn't make me cry. It definitely made me feel just like, oh, poor little BB. I love you. Hope you gotta protect her. Don't let bad things happen to Kaio. Oh, and I mean that's kind of the plot of the show.
Yeah.
No, I still think best joke, and the reason I bring it up is because I'm looking at right here is the night before that where mom just lays down between the two of them. She's like, "Do you want me to leave you two alone?"
Yes.
Because I pulled up a picture of all the kids so I can at least see their fake faces and recognize names with faces real quick. But no, right next to that picture is a picture of the three of them laying on their bed thing. Or their bedroll, and it's just like, oh, do you want me to leave you alone?
Yokai.
I will say though, Josh, that there were like, probably 4 or 5 times where like it was hard to like not tear up a little bit.
Yeah.
For me, especially the most like gut wrenching parts were the few scenes where we would see Satoru like dropping her off at her house.
Yeah.
And her mom answering the door.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it was brutal. And I've never watched a show that so like bluntly confronts the issue of like child abuse. I thought that was, not that I can remember like off the top of my head.
Yeah. A lot of people weren't super okay with the way that they depicted people suffering from abuse, but honestly, I thought it was powerful.
Yeah, I feel like that's a pretty good representation.
Having met no one that I can think of who's been in sort of similar situations, I don't think it was a bad representation of it just based off of other literature and things I've read and watched. She had all the from the medical aspect of what I have learned through training throughout my life. She had the same aspects of what a person that goes through abusive goes through, where they hide bruises and try to show that everything's fine and hold in all that. So I don't think that was bad because there are people who act like that. It also comes down to people may say that, oh, that's not how those kind of people act, but at that point, everyone's a different person. They're going to react differently to different situations. And this is how this young girl acts when she's confronted with this. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Mm-hmm. And it's also one of those things of like, it's different for kids too. Because you have to think it from the idea of this is someone that's supporting and supposedly loves you. And that does this. So, it's a different aspect of mentality of that as well. So, I don't want to go too down that rabbit hole, even though I did. But yeah.
If we're talking about this, about
the protection, Kaio holding her mom back or whatever.
Yeah.
If we're talking about Kaio's mom, another thing that I just remember that I didn't like about the show.
Kaio's mom?
Well,
but like in a good way.
I loved to hate her.
Yeah.
And that's why at the end when they take Kaio away from her, and the grandmother appears like magically, and then says like, oh, or, like she doesn't say it, but it's like the implication like, oh, it's not your fault that you like that you've been an abusive parent because your husband left. I thought that was kind of a interesting choice to like wrap up that character. I don't know.
It felt the most realistic to do it that way. Because let's be honest, if your mom was derelict for a while, she found out you were abusing her granddaughter, she'd probably do that, and then I feel like that was a natural just progression of things.
Y'all have different families than I do, because
I'm not saying my parents would do that. I'm not saying my parents or grandparents would do that. I'm just saying that this seems like something shitty people would do.
Because I'm just saying, my grandma finds out that one of my parents is beating me. My grandma starts beating my parent. Just saying, like,
it just seemed like they were like bailing her out, almost.
No, it seemed like they were trying to make her the most pathetic she could be.
I agree with that. I do think that they're trying to make her seem pathetic, but yeah, no, yeah.
Especially with that on the nose side comment by the teachers, like, "Oh, she's crying for herself more than Kaio." Blah blah blah.
Yeah. Yep. I can see that now.
Yeah.
It's just when I first watched it, I was like, no, I don't want to like have like any semblance of like sympathy towards you.
That was I feel like that was the point.
Yeah.
You weren't supposed to.
But we can all agree that Satoru's mom is best girl, right?
Oh, by far.
Yeah.
Pretty sure Midorima's mom is best girl, best mom. Jumping ahead though.
We're not talking about My Hero. We're talking about Erased. Please stay on topic.
No,
we all know how I feel about Midoriya's. We all know how I feel about Deku's mom.
It's true. No, I mean, I feel Inari could be best girl, but again, with the anime,
maybe in the manga, but
yeah, I feel in the
anime.
manga she might be best girl, but definitely in anime, mom is best girl, mainly because I mean, mom has all the great best scenes and
she has all
jokes.
the jokes. Yeah,
yeah,
she's the only person bringing any sort of levity to this show.
I mean, that's not true. The two other boys that are of no importance try to bring levity, but I don't think.
I mean, that
enough.
one episode is like secret bases are the coolest.
Yeah, and I don't think we see them enough, and their jokes are more of honestly just things kids do than actual jokes.
Glasses Kid isn't even a character; he was just kind of there.
It's true. Glasses Kid isn't a character. Spiky-haired green headband kid is a character mainly because he goes and sees other girl. That is his role. To make sure other girl is okay.
And then Ice Skating Kid.
Yeah.
Hockey Kid who shows up for an important plot point in this 10th episode.
Something like that, yeah.
I really like her character design.
Which one? Oh,
big old pouty lips.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lips and like she wears like, I don't know, she wears very casual clothing, not
never
anything.
ages.
Yeah. And like she's like pretty shrewd with that whole like news announcer thing going on.
Yeah, I think that's interesting because she's definitely obviously based off her employment as a businesswoman, which is interesting.
Wasn't she like some sort of news person? Yeah,
she was, and then
in the first episode, and then by the 11th, she had to become a stay-at-home mom for 12 years.
Yeah.
That's the other scene that almost had me crying. That was just like, Mom, why do you have other job now? And then we see Satoru, and I was like, oh.
Makes you love Mom.
Yeah.
Love Mom more.
That was the point where I really liked the show for not copping out and just sending him back when they sunk the car with him in it.
When we were all done, they didn't just send him back to the future.
Yeah.
Nah,
I mean, it kind of did, but it kind of didn't.
I mean, it didn't because it was like a different timeline, right?
Yeah.
Sort of thing going on.
But he was still unconscious for 12 years.
Yeah.
So much physical therapy.
So in a way, it did, but in another way, it's not the same way as it had before.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same. It would be the same idea of how you time travel every night. Air quote: you go to sleep and you wake up and it's a different time. So I mean, like it's the same philosophy of you move time mentally but not physically.
I wonder how he integrated back into society.
Not
Perfect.
very well.
No, absolutely 100% perfectly when he regained his memory.
Well, that's because he already had adult memory from when he went back.
Yeah, I wonder how. I wonder how people are gonna take that.
There's like,
dang. So how old would he be at that point then?
Mentally,
Think about.
mentally he'd have another year.
no, because
basically,
he was 29. He went back.
for
and
like
then-
for pretty much the equivalent of a year.
So he would turn 30, and then he was asleep for 12 years.
So mentally, he only has a year.
Yeah,
on
so
himself.
he'd be 30 on himself, but I guess like if you want to take time, he would technically be like 42 or something like that in his head. Some nonsense.
Dissociative problems. Like, who am I?
Who am I?
Starring Jackie Chan.
Oh, I just think of every time I think of who am I think of Scrubs.
Oh, okay. Well, isn't there a Jackie Chan movie where he like screams from a hilltop? Who am I?
Maybe.
Pretty
I don't
sure
know.
there is.
I think of
that
Scrubs
up.
and the geriatric guy that would tackle people because he doesn't know who he is.
Yeah, it's called Who Am I? It's a Jackie Chan movie. I was right.
I did not doubt you. That's not what I thought of.
That's fair.
I also thought one thing that maybe this was like more expounded upon in the manga, but that one girl that was like the popular girl in the class.
Oh, not gonna say bitch.
Bitch. The 10-year-old bitch.
The nag, I guess.
Yeah, the total that girl. That girl. Yes, the girl who actually acted her age in the show.
Right. I liked
Catty little 10-year-olds.
I liked the idea of bringing her back, but they should have developed that a little bit more. I don't know. Actually, I'm having a hard time like remembering exactly like in what manner they brought her back in.
Did they bring her back? All I remember was Kaio threw her pencil out the window, and that's why they were fighting.
No, she gets brought back like in the last couple episodes, if I'm not mistaken.
Like back in present day?
No, I'm sorry.
No, you mean second girl. I think that's a completely different girl.
No, it's hold on.
I know what you're talking about. You're talking about pig-haired girl.
It's the girl that Josh was talking about. Hold on.
When?
Because you're talking about pig-haired girl with the glasses that framed Kyle for the money.
Yes.
Yeah. They bring her back later. Yeah, because he tries to protect her real quickly just to make sure like that she wasn't alone, because he starts noticing that she's alone, and that's how teacher catches him and ends up in lake. Is basically what happens there. Is why she gets brought back.
Was that the same girl?
Yeah, that was the same girl.
I thought that was a third girl.
Nope. Well, third girl is girl that spiky-haired kid loves.
Goes to the other school.
Yeah, and goes to the other school. She's fourth girl that wasn't originally in main kidnapping.
Okay.
But she's used to set up our protagonist, being Satoru, to get into said trap.
Well, I don't
teacher.
remember her coming back ever. So, you know.
It was like a half an episode, so it didn't really matter. It's fine.
Cool. Good thing the show gave itself enough time to do things.
Because like she came back because she was like, yeah, no, like kidnappers. He's thinking some of the things like kidnappers going after people who are all alone and not blah 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 blah. And he's just like, but she's now ostracized and by herself. She's going to this thing. I'm going to go make sure she's okay. And then teacher kidnaps us because girl runs away or something. I don't know. And then we go into lake or river.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's all right. That's who I was trying to articulate was the person. Okay.
It was just very rushed.
Yep.
It was like I was like I thought that they were setting it up for like.
I've already said multiple times how I hate that episode the most out of all 12. Episode 9 is my least favorite. Or as episode 10. Episode 10 is my least favorite.
Yeah. I mean, well, because like, and I thought the whole like when Satoru realizes that it was him, like the revelation. I remember that scene. I didn't feel like it had great like flow to it. Like they were just kind of talking to each other for like 6 minutes, and I don't know, it didn't seem like they really were these two guys that were, like duking it out with each other. But that was just my take on it.
Closing thoughts, Leo.
I mean, just real quickly, based on what you were talking about just now with the them talking about him regaining his memory. I think honestly, I keep seeing a video and I was trying to look for it real quickly, but I don't know if I'm going to find it just because there's too many videos it'll probably pop up real quick about. But I think I like the part. It was a joke someone made where they made that ending bit where he says, "I have my memories," and that's where the episode ends.
Oh, and with the JoJo ending?
Yeah, the JoJo ending of it. I think that one works better just because it honestly brings more air quote seriousness to that ending than the actual ending. And that's what I was trying to find real quick to show David that, but I don't think I'm going to be able to find it.
David, watch JoJo.
But yeah.
Watch all of JoJo.
The Bizarre Adventure?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
It's great.
I haven't heard anything about it.
Really? It is one of the best things. It's so good.
You know what I thought about the other day?
What's up?
Watching that one show that used to be on Adult Swim.
Bebop.
Well, okay, that's on my list.
A lot of shows there, David. That we're
Yeah, I mean, I can start naming shows.
It's like a super flamboyant show with the hair.
Space Dandy.
Bo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bo.
So, think about that show. It's random. That's the humor.
That's the humor.
Yep. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but it's also like Japanese random, so it's extra weird.
It's not Gintama levels, though.
Well, see, I don't find Gintama funny, like, for the majority of the time, though, so...
Because all the Japanese jokes.
But, like, there's a lot of cultural jokes in Gintama. Bobo's just weird.
It's true.
Yeah, I'll have to check out JoJo.
Do it.
It's long, right? Like, it's
there's
Yes.
like... So, I mean, there's 2 seasons of, like, 24 episodes. And part 3 is actually 3 seasons of 24 episodes.
And then
gives it a 3rd season of 24.
Yeah, and then there's a 4th season that just started.
Yep.
Or 4th series that just started.
The first season is actually the
they're
first 2 parts of the manga, and then the 2nd and 3rd seasons are the 3rd part of the manga. So, you know.
Yeah.
That's how
It's
that
because
goes.
the manga's split up between multiple people, because JoJo's not just one person.
Nope.
Well, JoJo is one person, but there's
it's-
multiple people named JoJo from the family, basically.
Not
and
necessarily.
it's,
Well, yeah, I guess, yeah, it's still...
they're all technically related somehow
Yep.
in the same family to the original JoJo. So,
Do you remember in Holes how they're all named Stanley Yale Nats? David?
yes.
Yeah, it's basically that logic.
except they all have Joe in their name somewhere twice. Which, if we get to part 5, that's going to be really weird, because JoJo in part 5 is Dio's kid, but he's JoJo because, like, the kid was conceived while Dio had JoJo's body in part 3 or something like that. And he's Italian.
So
it's like Giovanni something, but Joe and Joe are in his I don't know.
So like
some nonsense.
David, this show is called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure for a reason. So basically, the end of part 1, the main antagonist becomes a vampire, but he doesn't die. And he also kills the JoJo of that time. And so by the time part 3 comes around, his severed head is on the body of the dead JoJo.
Welcome to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
It's not going to detract any of your enjoyment of the show, except for now you know that Jonathan dies, but whatever.
I mean, he's super old anyway, so it's okay.
Yeah, he's like, 1800s England JoJo?
Yeah, something like that.
In my opinion, the least compelling JoJo of all of them, so who even cares?
I mean, yeah.
because we don't get to see him blossom with age like we do with the other ones.
So at this point, I just want to mention again, I'm Leo, and I do want to thank you for listening to our podcast today.
Well, hold on. Let's give some closing thoughts about Erased, like I was trying to do before we went on a JoJo tangent. Leo, closing thoughts. Erased.
Like I said, I mean, I think I'm going to retract. I mean, I'm not going to retract my number 2 status. I do think this show's really good. It's just, I mean, it definitely could have been better thinking about it now, and there could be more stuff with this show that they could have made longer. Other than that, I think it was good. I mean, I would still recommend it to people, even though I think everyone and their mom has been recommended this show. But I would recommend the show, and yeah, that's about it. I mean, that's about my statements.
David?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely recommend this show to anyone as well. It's got really good dialogue. It's got really believable characters. Yeah, I mean, it's really solid. I feel like the details are very, very, like, they took care of the details very well. The production quality is really good. And it's, you know, it's like an interesting plot. It's an interesting story. I thought that the craft of the story was good too. So yeah, overall, really good show.
Yeah, it's okay. Needs more mom. Needs more Irie. Needs more Jackie Chan. But other than that, it's okay. I liked it enough. I didn't feel like I wasted my time watching it. But it's definitely not high on my list of recommendations. So yeah, this has been the Baker Street Podcast. My name is Watson.
I am Leo.
And
I am David.
yeah, okay. So, where can they find you, David?
God.
If they wanted to.
My internet presence is scattered. You can go find me on Twitch if you want to watch me play some Rock Band.
And, what would that Twitch channel be?
Meadowlark Lemon, named after the late great Harlem Globetrotter.
But he died?
Yeah, Meadowlark Lemon. He died like 6 months ago, or a little bit less, actually.
GG.
Damn you, 2016!
Have you seen the jokes though about the fact that apparently George R. R. Martin wrote 2016 because Jesus.
Before we continue on this kind of depressing tangent, Leo, where can the people of the internet find you?
Here and I mean Twitter, Tumblr. I'm doing some. If you want to see some cool stuff I've been doing, I've been making. I'll throw out Zach. Z-Man, and because I've been doing thumbnails for him lately. So I mean, if you want to go see other art nonsense I've done lately, they're pretty cool. I think I enjoy making them. But yeah. Other than that, I mean, here, Twitter, Tumblr.
Pretty much all to Hewanka, correct?
Yeah, basically, which you cannot pronounce right, but that's cool.
Whatever.
But no one can, and I never expect anyone to. So it's cool. And then, I mean, we have that Twitch channel that we never use. But yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah, this will be going up on SoundCloud first, so if you're listening to us there, that would be SoundCloud, or Baker Street Geekery on SoundCloud, our YouTube channel, Baker Street Podcast, and Baker Street Geekery. This will be going up on the Baker Street Podcast YouTube channel after SoundCloud. I am currently in the midst of making a website for us. That'll be bakerstreetgeekery.com. You can find me on Twitter at Baker Street Geeks, on Tumblr, Watson of Baker Street, hummingbird.me. That's Watson of Baker Street. Did I say that for Tumblr? Because that's wrong.
I think so, maybe. I don't know.
Tumblr is BSG Watson. I said Twitter is at Baker Street Geeks. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Anyway, other than that, if you want to leave a question for us for the next podcast, our email that we leave for that is bakerstreetpodcast@gmail.com, BAKERST podcast@gmail.com. All right, so next week we will be going over Genroku Rakugo no, that's not right. Showa Genroku Rakugo Shinju. It is a show about Rakugo, the Japanese art of storytelling. David, if you want, you're happy to join us on for that. It's a 13-episode series, so watching that in the week should not be hard.
Oh, what's it called?
Showa Genroku Rakugo Shinju. Just type Rakugo anime. You'll find it.
I'll take a look. Yeah. I'll let you know within the next couple days. But if it's only 13 episodes, yeah, I'd be happy to join you guys.
Awesome.
I still need to watch it too.
This is the show that I think is what stands with Ping Pong the animation and One Punch Man to be one of the anime of the decade.
Although, have you read any of the manga?
For what?
For One Punch after?
Yes.
It seems even more like non sequitur than the first season was. Like the manga after the
manga has allowed that because of all the black and white.
The manga's also
empty space.
Maybe 10 chapters apiece.
What?
Or 10 pages apiece, okay? Something like that.
Well, okay, it was... Thing about that manga, it's like... hold on, let's close out the podcast real quick. So anyway, we will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Alright, so yeah, the thing about the manga there...